Hello, Rain. Very well, and you? How are you? Hey, Samara. How are you guys? Here it's really hot. Today it's really, the temperature, it's really humid, but oh well. I don't know. I don't get along well with summer. Like, there's something about summer that I would prefer winter. Oh, really? Wow. The first time in 2 years? Wow, it's a lot. Hmm. Oh, well, here we do have not so much, but I think that the four seasons do get their chance to show. Like, it's not like other countries that you just have, I don't know, very tropical kind of like weathers. We do have the four seasons. Oh wow! Sitting on my office desk with all my supplies near me. Mm. Mm. Oh, that's great. And here it's a bit windy, but it's really hot outside, so it's like it doesn't matter if the wind is strong. So how is Scorpio season treating you guys? Mm. We cannot get to the Sagittarius heaven without going through the deepness of the Scorpio season. The transformation, we have to go through that. Yes. A lot of like, I don't know. I know I'm going for transformation, but I notice people are very, it's not about being sensitive, but it has to do with probably zero tolerance to, I don't know. It seems like we cannot hide certain things anymore. So we have to face a few of our fears. Like I'm gonna be stressed this way because of all the finals are coming up, but I'm chilling. Oh, okay. Mhm. Yeah, you can do it, Samara. Yes, you can. So I was thinking, because if we analyze actually everything that had been happening in K-pop these past few weeks, it had been intense as well. Um, we we know that there had been some news, a lot of things coming out about certain things that probably, I don't want to say that we tend to ignore about fame or about being in the industry, but it's the side that is not that pretty. Um, and I think that that's also meaningful that all these things come out um, in this specific time of year. Like I mentioned, we talked about Omega X. We the music bank in Chile as well. A lot of things that actually like they could have come out in other time, but they are happening now. So I think that definitely there's a message in there. There's a message um, about what do we do with that information as a fan or as a spectator. Yes. And like I told you, I think that from my perspective, probably the Omega X is just like the tip of the iceberg that a lot of people had gone through that. And I think that that's like one thing that we can say about the Scorpio energy or the Scorpio season is that sometimes it does bring out the ugliness of a situation, or it does remove the masks, the deceptions, the blinds from our eyes. um I feel like all this Scorpio season stuff It's happening to everyone else. I'm thinking I'm feel that. Yeah. I think that there's a lot of information that we can take from Scorpio season, uh, that it's going to be necessary for us to know these things and to pay attention to these things so we can like somehow analyze how we are going to proceed from now. I was like I try not to look at these videos, like I don't want to keep replaying those videos of them going through that mistreatment, that violence, because I was like very upset about it. Like it really made me feel very bad, like watching those things or reading about it. Uh, because somehow it was like I had this feeling that I was watching a scene of a lot of scenes. So I even questioned like myself, like, am I going to keep supporting this industry, like knowing what I know, knowing the little details that I know about this that happened to them? Do I still support this industry? Do I still stand knowing that this could very well happen or had happened to my favorites or to any other trainee or group? Um, I think that it's a very like deep question, because it does move you in a way that you are no longer the same once you saw this, and it's like eye-opening. And I believe that probably the Scorpio season is like, okay, now that you've seen, what are you going to do about it? Like, hmm, yes, Ilan, it is. But on the bright side, they're trying to trademark, protect Omega X and 4X. Yeah. Um, I don't know. Um, I think that it should bring awareness to who we are as fans, if we consider ourselves fans, and to pay attention to these red flags, like, because I think that if you pay attention closely, perhaps you had watched a few m- moments like of maybe your favorite groups going through something like that. um I think that I always tell you guys how I am so like uncomfortable sometimes when an idol turns, or my favorite, like, turns on the Be Live, and he's talking, and maybe he's like, oh, okay, I'm going to have a mukbang, or I'm going to eat while I'm talking to you guys, or the group is talking, and you always see them or notice that they are looking sideways, as if there's someone else in the room, that they are not alone. And and maybe we are a bit used to that, and we are like, oh no, like, these people is there to be of service to them, in case they need to grab like a glass of water, if they need something, they will bring it, they are there to. But they are also, somehow their presence is to censor the idol, to be like, for example, if they are saying something, especially the ones that are not the popular, that you can definitely sense like how they are looking sideways, like trying to get an approval, or trying to, it seems like they are under pressure, that and somehow it does break the the spell, I would say, of you thinking that when an idol turns on the Be Live, that he does it or she does it because they really want to do it, and because they are excited to talk to us, and because they want to show us something, or they miss us, and maybe it's scheduled to happen that way, and actually it's arranged. So those are the things that if you start to look very closely, there's a lot of hints about actually them being very micromanaged, like that. Even when you think that they are being themselves, they are like constantly surrounded by others, and that they even have to ask for permission about what things they can talk about, what things they can mention. I think I saw this in um during a V live of the boys, the members, that they were talking about their favorite shows that they are watching at that moment. And I think that one of them wanted to talk about, I don't know if it was like a famous competition show or something like that. And I remember this member like getting out of the room and going and asking for permission if he could mention that show in particular. So he came back, and he did mention the name. But in that sense, that's when I think that somehow the magic breaks behind, like I always tell you, behind the idol image, behind what you think that you know and that actually you don't know. Um, and and yes, of course that they're um, they are called idols for a reason. So I think that maybe there needs to change something in that system. Um, and also we should like review a bit about themselves, like what does it feel like for you to be following an idol? Like, why do you need an idol? Like many people like grab on the idol persona, and they grab that idol to sort of like release their, not only their infatuation and their obsession, but also their their way of patronizing them, of like, oh, you shouldn't be like this because you're an idol. Oh, that's a bad manner coming from an idol. Oh, that's a bad attitude coming from an idol. So, there's this sense of, okay, I own you, I own what you're selling. So somehow I can dictate what is right or wrong about your image. And if you do something that I do not agree on, then I'm going to critique you, I'm going to criticize you. So that's harsh, that's harsh. um I don't know if you guys ever had this moment of wondering, like what am I standing here, like what what am I watching, like what am I supporting? um it it's tough. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Especially small companies don't have control mechanism. Yeah. And that's one of that's very that's a very scorpionic word, to control, to try to control, to possess uh, someone, something. You know, I think that probably this season it's also to learn to let go of control. That that we don't have to hold on so tight to certain things. That we cannot let things to consume us. That sometimes it's not that big of the deal all the time, Vanessa, especially since I'm African American. K-pop does not respect the origins of music, and the fans constantly defending them doesn't make it easier. This I'm like, why am I here? Hmm. Yeah. Yes, Amara, I get what you're saying. And I also wonder the same as a Hispanic Latin American person. I also wonder that about myself because sometimes there are a few instances where there's racism, and I think that you can like consume it and you can like be okay with what they promote as long as you also take into consideration that um, probably our race is going to get offended a lot of times, and that probably um, yeah, like I tell you, I don't know if I would be very welcome. Like I know I would be welcome as a guest, in as a foreigner, but I think that their expectations, their values are very narrow-minded. So, every time a fan asks about, oh, will my favorite idol marry a foreigner? You know, I always in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't know, like it depends on, like I told you, what is foreigner for them? Someone that comes from America and is white, because we do have a lot of nationalities. So um, I think that in that sense, I'm very well aware, the same as you, Samara. I'm very well aware that, especially when they talk about certain members getting tanned or like it's being exposed to the sun and getting a bit tan, and they feel like, oh my god, like how you're so tan, as if it was some kind of, I don't know, um as if it was a bad thing. And I'm like, oh wow, well, I'm naturally brown. So I don't know how to feel about it. I do wear sunscreen, but I'm not white. So when they always protect their skin, you know whenever they are outside, I feel like, oh, we are so different. I feel like we are so different. And I do have like friends that are Korean Argentinian, that they are Argentinian because they are born here, but their parents are Korean, and they are brown like me. It's just that they have like Asian complexions. But I remember that I had this high school, not high school. She went to primary school with me, and and I remember that this girl had always been like a bit chubby, like especially her face had always been very round, but beautiful girl. And she used to tell me that whenever she had to go to Korea to visit her Korean family over there, that she would go like for a week or so. She would come always really depressed because she would be constantly reminded of how she enjoyed food too much, or how she wasn't like she was. They would always talk to her about their weight as a sort of love language, to talk. Yeah, exactly. So I have that perception as well of, wow, if I go there, I would get criticized. And I think that they would be like, oh well, but she is, I don't know, she's different, she's from another race. But uh yeah, passive aggressive comments, we do have them, that in all families of all races, I believe. But I think that probably in our country or our races, we tend to praise women that are curvilicious and that are different. I mean, I'm so mixed in my race that I like, and for women it's so hard to actually get to a point of like, okay, I like myself. I like my body shape, I like, and not to mention the body weight, the weight fluctuation, and growing old, and that thing about the age as well. So um I'm like, I think I consider myself a fan, that I do notice the huge differences between their values and my values. So, but I had to stop watching literally a lot of K dramas because of their constantly like showing the main character going through bullying and going through a lot of humiliations to somehow turn into this beautiful swan that would be rich in the future, and she will come back to revenge everyone. I think that um, there's a lot of, and not to talk about the, here in Latin America we say machismo. Then I don't know how to say it. I know it has a word in English, but it's when the man feels superior to the woman. I don't know if you. Mm, so yeah. Mm, so I don't know. I think I just, yes, but I don't know how it's called when the man like belittles everything that the woman does. I know it has um I don't know, sometimes I feel like like I have to stop watching. Actually, I cannot continue watching um like a few of the famous like K dramas because of that. Is like, I don't get the, like, I do get that it's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable, so you are supporting the main character, so you're like, okay, I will stick to this because I want to see her or him, I want to see them like succeed. But it's like, no, no. And there was like this Do you remember this K drama that 80s members wore on it? That is what I think it was called. Was it Imitation? I believe it was Imitation. I think it was called, yes, Imitation. I think it was. Yes. Um, I remember I stopped watching because I don't know, the female lead. Oh, she had too much done on her face. Like there was like she didn't even had a chin. She had this V, a small face, but her face shape looked weird. So I couldn't keep watching because every time they would do a close up on her, I would be very like, like what's going on with your face? Like I don't know because it was like this part was like huge and this part was really small, like V shape, and I just couldn't take it, guys. I had to stop watching, and I think that this is the first time that then I was very selective about which K dramas I was going to watch because there are some surgeries on these actors that I'm like, and like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Um, their like I say, like I always say, their nose doesn't move. Like it looks like their nose it was bought because no one has a nose like that. But I had to stop watching Imitation because of her. Not just because I think that her acting was no, like I couldn't. You know when you're supposed to like the main character or somehow like being like, oh well, this is a very funny girl, I don't know. I just couldn't stand her. I was like, she would the typical, that she would get all the guys fall in love with her being like the regular out of the group, like the typical, like the nice girl that all the handsome guys fall in love with her and she doesn't have to make the effort, they just fall in love with her. So I was a bit like, I think that her teammates or bandmates were like a bit more interesting than her. In But I swear that was, yes, it was scary, Samara. It was scary. I swear. Like it was the first time, and I remember that. I don't know. I talked to someone about this, and I remember that they laugh out loud because they were like, "How do you?" I even sent them a picture because I was like, "You need to see this face. Like there's something wrong with this face." Like, and they even like they made her like wear these bangs, and it would make her head huge because of the bangs. Like the bangs would start here to here, and then she would have no, like the face was so tiny but the head was No, I swear, like I got really distracted. So I was like, no, I cannot. I cannot. I don't know. I cannot. So, but yeah, I take it as, and the whitewashing as well. The whitewashing as well. I take it as, like I I always say, like generally the whitewashed people, especially if they are like in a storyline or in a plot that they are all in high school, that usually the handsome guy is the nice guy, and the guys that do not have whitewashing, they are the bad guys, or the ugly guy, or the normal guy is they are bad. They are bad, but the tall handsome male protagonist comes to save the day because he is the nice guy, because he is handsome. So if he comes into this humble girl's life, she's going to be better. He's going to rescue her from poverty and harassment from the it's because, oh, he's nice, because he must be nice because he's whiter than the others. He looks white. Oh my. But yeah, just take it as entertainment. Don't go that far because you're going to get disappointed. It's like, take it as entertainment. And also, isn't it annoying, or is it just for me, that it's so predictable, and it's so annoying whenever an idol walks into a room, or they are part of, I don't know, of a group of MCs, or I don't know, a variety show, and somehow they show up, the other interviewers or the other guests, they all get like, oh my god, he's so handsome. They are all like, oh. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, he's famous. Yes, we know he's handsome. We know she's beautiful. Yes, we know it. But they are like, so what? They are handsome. Like, but it's like, oh my God. And I'm like, really? That's how you react every time that you see. I mean, I would be like, wow, because this person is famous, of course. But about them being like, oh my God, like saying, oh, you're so beautiful to their faces, I would be like, I don't know if I would react like that. I would be like, oh, like, wow, I'm excited. I cannot believe you're in front of me. But to that moment of shook, when they are like, oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, look at your face. That nose. That you're so white. You're so. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Yeah, I suppose they are. I mean, they're on television, so they must be handsome, I suppose. Oh my. It's like I don't know, like why? Like I don't understand. Like I would be freaking out as well, but I wouldn't be like interrupt the whole conversation to be like, oh my god, you are so handsome. Like look at the size of his head. He is flawless. Or you are so beautiful. Like yeah, they know that they're beautiful. They work with their image. They are supposed to know that. I mean, but well. So if we think about, since we are talking about like a Scorpio season, um, if you think about your idols, like it's the Scorpio idols, what do you think the trait that sets them apart from other idols, from other like what are for you the most like Scorpio idols and why you think that is? What are the most Scorpio idols for you? The representation of a Scorpio that you know in K-pop. What do you think? Which ones do you think that represent like a Scorpio the most, or the intensity you feel, especially from their eyes? Yes, that yes. Let's remember that they do wear contact lenses, so also their eyes are not their eyes. Oh my, oh my. I'm sorry, guys. It's just the moon scorpion in me. Like, if you ask me for the truth, like I always tell you, if you ask me for the truth, you're going to get it. I probably going to mess up because Jupiter in the first house, so I tend to be a bit blunt. So you can stop me. Rim, if I go too far, you stop me, please. Yes, I think that Utah is a great representation because of the Scorpio nature, because he is like he must have like an stellium that is the concentration or three or more planets in one sign. So I think that probably he has a moon, um he has sun, moon. I believe that probably he has Venus, and he must have Pluto as well. So there's a lot of intensity in there. I literally will mistake Sagittarius people for Scorpios. Really? Wow. I think that yes, Utah has that Scorpios there. That actually, in astrology, the Scorpio also is represented by the eagle. So that's why sometimes we call them like the eagles there. That you are able to see miles away your target. So if a Scorpio person or a Scorpio placement, strong Scorpio placements are looking at you, you can definitely sense that they are looking into your soul, literally, and that they are like absorbing your energy, and they are pretty intense. So I think that probably for Utah, this intensity is something that is very characteristic of him. Um, yes, his Sagittarius rising doesn't help because that's how they trap you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just that I think that and also I think that it has to do with being Japanese as well, because I think that the Utah's way of expression as an artist has some kind of, there's like a rebel inside of him, and there's like someone that it's very risky when it comes to his style. um and I think that we know that in Japan we do have like groups, but especially there's a lot of famous rock stars that are Japanese. So they do have this very like underground kind of style of, I don't know, like that is not the clean K-pop, like a bubblegum K-pop, or I don't know. It's not the pretty image. I think that Utah with him and his essence, I think that he brings that Japanese flavor to his style. I think that that's what sets him apart from others. And also, of course, his intensity. We know that we had talked about, I had very like trying to be really respectful, but I had asked you guys what happened to his face, because I noticed that sometimes his face looks too thin. He is, for me, according to my perception, he's too thin, but it's his body, his work, his decision. um and we had comments about how his face had changed, so we don't know what happened there. But definitely, what also, since we are talking about the eyes, I think that one of the things that we can say that, oh, this is Utah's, like, this is no surgery here, there's no like plastic surgery here, is the eyes. Because if you see his baby pictures, or even when he was like 4 or 5 years old, he had always had these very big eyes, very black eyes, very very big, very deep. So I think that that's one trait. You know that in Korea they tend to have this double eye surgery, and I think that in his case, despite of him being Asian, he does have very round eyes, and I think that he definitely does have them without using those glances or these eye contacts that they use to make their eyes rounder. Yes. Yeah, it's the chin. Yes, it's the chin. Definitely. It's the chin. So I think that in his case, there's also this, like, I wouldn't say that he is secretive, but I think that he is a guy um that he's always focused. He's not looking around at what others are doing. I think that he's very very focused, very fixed on himself. And I think that that's also very Scorpio. But what about other idol that is not Utah, other Scorpio idol? Mm-hmm. Hmm. Oh yes, Rim. And like I was mentioning, I think that having a Scorpio energy is a must, actually, if you want to be an idol, because somehow that tendency of being very into secrecy and being reserved can actually like help you probably go through that career without like giving away too much about yourself, like being like, okay, like I will keep a part hidden, I will not show a lot. Mm, yeah, he does look better. Then we have, I think that we have, today I did God Seven's Jukjom, God Seven's Magne, tarot reading. We have um, 17 the 8, Mingal, or Minghao, remember how it's pronounced. Um, well, we have my biases, the voice biases, Sanyon and Q. We have my other Stray Kids bias, Lino. So a lot of Scorpios, a lot of, not so many because I don't think that it's that many. Uh, but you know what thing I always sense about these idols is that they are they don't like to draw too much attention to themselves. So if they are part of the group, probably they are the ones that just sit in the corner and are just there, and I think that this is to somehow like to I think that the Scorpio energy is something that is not about being shy or being secretive. I think that it's more about being selective about what or how much you want to show about yourself. And I think that probably don't stand out that much of their groups. They are just there. You know that they are just there. And this is their power. This silent presence that even though you don't know like exactly what they're thinking, um, they actually have a very strong like role in the group. I mean, they all have. It's just that I think that sometimes the Scorpio members tend to save the day of the group. This is something that the endurance of the Scorpio male and female physically, they tend to go through a lot of transformations. You can have like Scorpio idols like actually changing a lot in front of your eyes, but they will always like resurface. This is why Scorpio is also represented by the phoenix, because if anyone has the possibility to rise up and like to be born again and to have a second chance, it will be them. So I think that you definitely do need them in your group, because they are these ninjas, these secret warriors that they are just there. They don't, they don't pull out the sword right away, but they have it. They have their weapons. So in case if it's needed, if it's necessary, they're going to come out and defend and give it their all. But it has to be for a good cause. Otherwise, they're just going to be there. Wait, guys, I dropped my cards. Honjun and Wooyoung. Wooyoung? Honjun, yes. Wooyoung? Wooyoung is not a Sagittarius. Isn't he a Sagittarius? Yeah. Yes, Hongjun is a Scorpio. Me too. Me too. Me too, Samara. I thought definitely Woo was a Gemini. Definitely, he has all the Gemini vibes because he's so talkative. He has all that Gemini vibe. But yes, I know, guys, you're waiting for this Scorpio season to be over so we can talk about Sagittarius. Sagittarius, that we do have a lot in K-pop. I know, guys, I know. It's been long days. It has been long days. SM Rookie and the possible new NCT member Shohei is a Sagittarius. Oh, really? Oh, and then we have Shotaro as well. Hello, Fluffy. Josan is surprisingly the Gemini. Yes, I swear. I swear. I swear. Josan is that morning cancer of his definitely is like taking over his life. Because like I don't understand how he can be so chill with being a Gemini. Like I would expected him to be a bit more hyper. But mm, yeah, Hilal, don't say sorry. Also, Chenle, although he could be a Scorpio, no one knows because he's a cusp. Yeah, but he does give me off. He's a mix for me, but he does remind me more of Sagittarius energy. But he has like he has a very playful image, and I think that this generally happens a lot with the Scorpio people, that sometimes people tend to have this view or this image of a Scorpio being really serious, very intense, like too much on the streams. And actually, I believe that Scorpios are the most are the funniest for me. I used to have like a friend at school that we will be sitting like next to each other during class. And I swear I would always get scolded by the teacher because she would make me laugh. Because she had this particular scorpionic way of being, that she would whisper in my ear certain things or certain comments, or that would make me laugh, like would make me like laugh out loud. And the teacher would always cut me, like I would get like I would get reprehended, not her, and actually, like, and maybe we would be like whispering and talking to each other, but I would be the one getting caught, not her, because she would always be talking very like very silently, so I remember I used to get really upset at her. But she was amazing. Playful, brutally honest, open, extremely confident, very positive, optimistic, very Sagittarius. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you just described Sagittarius in there. Yeah. But yeah, I think that also Scorpio people do have some Sagittarius vibes in them. For example, Lino, he has Moon in Sagittarius, and then we have Utah, that he is a Sagittarius Mars. So they, once you get to know them, once you pass that very intimidating aura, you actually realize that they are very goofy, that they are hilarious, that they are jokers, that they don't take themselves so seriously as we think. Um, Actually, I because of my mom and other people, Scorpio people that I met, actually they use humor a lot to cope with things, to break the tension. Um, and they are really funny because they tend to notice the small details. So if they mock you or if they have fun, say they make fun of you, they're going to do it with a lot of context. Like, definitely. Um, but in my case, I think that the funniest people I met were Scorpios. And they have that, um, like that very, like, I don't know, that way of, it's like, it's not that deep, just laugh, so a bit of being a bit therapeutic. Um, when in my case, for example, that I am a moon Scorpio, I and I'm a Capricorn, so I have zero sense of humor. In the sense that, I mean, I tend to laugh at things, but it depends on the when and the how, because I usually don't, like, I don't, um it's like, if I consider that something is personal, I wouldn't want you to laugh at me or to make a joke about it. So, I'm not very humorous. Like, Chandler doesn't give me optimistic, though he looks like he constantly has a dark cloud over his head, despite playing up for the camera. But that's just me. Mm. Well, maybe he does change a lot of, attitude. Maybe he does change a lot. I think that his isn't his moon is in Gemini. I believe it is. I don't know if I'm mistaken. Maybe, but his motto is always have confidence. Just be confident and you can do anything. I think that the funniest Sagittarius traits that you can see in an idol is Lino, like being very straight, blunt to the fans. I think that Lino like arguing with their fans or fighting back his own fans. It's it's like unbelievable sometimes. So guys, this weekend is going to be very like like I'm going to be very busy because I have different like birthdays and celebrations. So I will probably do the next live on Sunday. Sunday 10 a.m. I'm watching my cat sleep. She's very profound asleep. Oh, yes. I know, Samara, but if you can't, like, don't worry, don't worry. Just, concentrate on your things. Concentrate on your things. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. I hope that you, thank you for coming. I know that this was like a very unexpected live, but I think that, I don't know, it was so full of like things. We had been going through a lot of changes and like a lot of things, like, energetically, that sometimes for us it seems like we feel it in the air, but we don't know exactly what's going on. So we have to remain positive and like just keep in mind that Sagittarius season is coming soon. So please, like, remain optimistic despite everything, and remember that what is no longer in your life, it was supposed to go. So, embrace letting go, and that whatever has to happen, it's meant to be. So yes, again, I think that Chandler plays a role, but again, that's my perception. I can't wait for it, to be honest. Yeah, yes, let's stay positive, guys. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. Yes, it's Samara. Yeah, I don't know. That's something about Chandler. I don't know much about, because I do follow, the ones that I do follow the most are NCT 127. Uh, but um, there's something about him that I also am like, like it's really like I'm still learning to adapt to his like his way of expressions, like I wonder also like what's going on in there. But I definitely can sense that he tends to fluctuate, he has mood swings or something like that. Um but yeah, he's funny, but definitely I also am intrigued about, okay, what's going on behind that, that funny side, like, but it's tough also, being an idol and being a fire sign, like I always tell you, it's complex. It's not for everyone, so probably he's still learning a lot about himself, and he's trying to adjust to maybe the role that he's been told to play, because they do assign them, and this is something that, since we are in Scorpio season, we can say out loud that sometimes they are assigned a few personality traits, that they have to follow. So, and you have these sort of small moments where you're like, oh, you are not the sunshine of the group, you're just like working your part, but actually you are deeper than the sunshine of the group. You are much more. It's just that probably that's some of the roles that they are being told to play, at least initially, until they can get that connection with the fans, so they can show their true self, and I think that that's when you realize that actually the group has been successful, or that the group has been growing and expanding, when you can really see an evolution in the way they show themselves to the public, because they must be apprehensive as well, like, okay, will they like me? What do I have to do to for them to like me? Because it's like, I think that if I was an idol, I would want to be someone's bias. I think that you have like a lot of members that are more popular than others. So I think that no one would want to be the least popular, or to not have that ability to connect with fans. Um, so I think that, it's a whole process. It's a whole process. But I'm going to check out more of his stuff so I can observe him a bit better. And of course, I'm going to do a reading for him for his birthday. I don't know when it is, but I'm going to do a reading for him so we can get to know a bit and we can get closer a bit to his energy to see what he's about. Oh, November 22. Oh, wow, it's very soon. Okay, so I'm going to start the Sagittarius season readings with him then. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you on Sunday. Bye.